talking commercial is Ann Barnett, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for 10 or 15 years already. Worked with her in Chicago years ago as a commercial wholesaler there. Just does a fantastic job. We're lucky enough to be able to bring her on for our district as a business insurance consultant for the team, helping with appetite quoting, getting stuff through underwriting. But she's going to come on and kind of talk about, top SIC codes, where to start, what that looks like here for our market. So, Ann, let's see if we can hear you.
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
It worked.
Okay. Perfect. So first I want to thank Nick for allowing me to join the meeting and allowing me to join your district as a consultant. So a little background about Nick and I. Yes, we worked together many years ago, and I was a commercial wholesaler for corporate farmers in Illinois and Wisconsin. I did do work in underwriting in Minnesota many years ago as well. And then I moved to Missouri. So I live in Missouri, and I am a consultant for Missouri agents, Kansas agents, and some even California district offices as well. But most of my career has been in commercial. And so I'm really excited to be able to work with you guys in Minnesota as well. And so what I can bring to the table is my experiences being in underwriting, in sales, and being a commercial wholesaler in other states. So I see lots of different activity and what agents are producing in other states as well, so that I can kind of help bring that information, what's working for some agents and not for others, of course. But my background in underwriting has also been very helpful to newer agents so that they understand I have a risk, I've brought it in, I've quoted it, but how do I get it through underwriting? So that is part of my what I can do for the district. I can review your quotes because I have access to the queue, so I can get in there. I can see what quotes you're working on if you need help with something, give you a few tips or tricks, and then also help you with that communication with underwriting. One thing I don't do a lot of is I don't do a lot of work when it comes to helping you with brokered business. So if you do that kind of stuff, I might be able to direct you. I don't know what brokers, because I haven't worked with Minnesota in a long time, are in your area that you would work with. I can help you with some Craft Lake, like where to go in Craft Lake, but they're changing their system, so it might be a little easier to figure that out now. But so I wanted to kind of share with you, I went over the target. There is a list on the dashboard that shows what Minnesota target industries are and class codes are, but I kind of narrowed that down a little bit. So obviously we want to write, what's on sale, and farmers right now is really pushing the retail office industry. But along with the retail office industry, artisan contractors is another class code that seems to be winning a lot in Minnesota, as well as restaurants. So I narrowed down those target industries, artisan contractors, retail office, and restaurants, to more specific SIC codes, as you can see on the screen. Okay, so looks like your landscapers and your janitorial have a high closing ratio. Okay, and I tried to pick those classifications that had more than 20 submissions in the last 6 months, right? So we know that people are quoting them and what's the percentage of them closing them. Okay, so landscapers and janitorial, which also have opportunity to write commercial autos. So, and also have the opportunity to write workers' compensation. So you could write 3 policies, almost 4 policies if you write an umbrella to go with it. Okay. And then when it comes to the retail office, I tried to pick those that were the highest in that particular field. That's realtors, chiropractors, health practitioners, just about any type of doctor, dentist type practice, accountants, photographers, beauty salons are the ones that had the highest close ratio. And most of those are all going to be in a strip mall type situation or in an office complex type situation where you don't have to insure the building in most cases. Now, one thing I'm not real familiar with is what your building rates are. like in Minnesota. Unlike I'm here in Missouri, we're in a wind and hail state, so we don't tend to write a lot of buildings very competitively. So I'll do some research on that, and maybe I can talk to some other agents that have written some commercial, and they can kind of tell me what some of the building rates are like in your area. But I try to find, again, those things where you're just talking, writing a bot policy, maybe some commercial autos, and the ability to write some workers' compensation and not have to worry about the building if that does pose a problem in your state. Then lastly was restaurants. So restaurants are really hot in Minnesota as well. Fast food restaurants, specifically casual dining restaurants, which have less than 35% liquor, and then your mobile food vendors. So that could be a food truck. It could be someone who has a barbecue trailer that they pull with a truck, those types of risks. And again, the restaurants, also you have the ability to write the workers' compensation. And in your state, like many other states right now, workers' compensation is very profitable and your closing rates are really good. So you have a closing ratio all up for workers' compensation at 44%. So always want to try to quote the workers' compensation as well to go along with your policies. So that's really what I wanted to share today, and make sure that you guys had my phone number, my email address. I'm available on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you happen to call me on a Tuesday, I may not answer because I also work for an agent on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So don't always have the ability to take a call, but certainly leave a message or shoot me an email or a text, and I'll make sure I respond to you as soon as I can. And we will try to work together and write some commercial business. How's that?
Awesome. We appreciate it, Ann. And this was kind of spurred by a couple of agents last year trying to get stuff through and work toward their annual profit bonus. And they were asking, like, what's our commercial resource? Who do we have on the company side? And, I started reaching out to people and realized there really isn't a great resource or person you can call and say, hey, I've got this. How do I get it through underwriting, or how should I be putting this in? And, it's one of those things, and found out Ann was still doing this, and she's always been one of the best at it. So I was excited to be able to add that for the team to help us. And, as we're working toward commercial, the reason we wanted to have a commercial focus early in the year is that profit bonus. Let's get our 10 commercial in, so we're not trying to get them all in, in the fourth quarter and stressing about it. Take that list from Ann and work with your staff and say, who do we know that's a landscaper that's either on the books or in your community, janitorial, realtors. Make that list with your staff and build a promo around it to see if we can get our 10 done quicker this year. So thank you, Ann.
You're welcome. I can stay on a little bit longer until I got my other call. So thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Looking sharp there. Miguel, how's it going? That's a great photo. Look good. So
thank you very much.
We can't talk commercial without having a couple of great agent speakers. So first up is Miguel Medrano. Just the way he approaches commercial, the way he builds relationships, and then just his passion for the quality of our products and how we stack up is second to none. And you can see 150 commercial in force, runs a great agency. Wanted him to come on and just talk about knowing your prospect, how he builds rapport, and how he positions Farmers Products when he's working with customers. So thank you, Miguel.
You're very welcome. Can you hear me?
Yep.
First of all, I'm going to apologize if you hear a really weird sound of my voice. I've been battling a little bit the flu, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you. One of my passions being here with farmers has been business, commercial in general. It is very important for me because it allows me to get in contact with people that are serving us somehow in different kind of products and services. I mean, sometimes a lot of people focus on personal lines and all that kind of stuff, but I see that also we can do a lot of good work for these people that they decide to change their lives, don't work in a factory, and they want to start something different, provide for their families in a different way. And that's very important to me because that's the moment that we as an agent realize that if we don't cover or we don't offer the product that they should have, that we are going to recommend, that we think with the experience that they should have, is not going to be good for them. And we don't want people to be on a risk of losing everything, not just their houses. I'm talking about their income, about their future for their kids. I take this very seriously because I'm in a business too. So if I don't have my errors and omissions, and I don't have this and that, I could be at risk too. So we as an agents, we have to take care of this stuff. And that's why it's very important for me, the business side of this, the insurance. One of the things that I do normally is study a lot. What do I mean by that? Farmers, I've been telling everybody that Farmers has a site that is very, very profound on information for us to educate ourselves. Because if we don't educate ourselves, we won't be able to inform or educate the prospects, the customers, the clients. It depends what station of the deal are with them. You have to get most of you can of all the products, a little bit of everything, but the most important things, the liability, what are the coverage that they really need, like let's say broken equipment breakdown, loss of income, all these kind of stuff that normally when you go to an appointment with a prospect, they don't grasp. Normally we get over there and okay, what do you have? And the answer is, well, I don't know. That's in my case. Well, what are your limits? I don't know. And they turn around and do you know how? No, they don't know. One of the things that they don't know is because their current agents never told them, explain them, educate them about what they're about to get. All they know is that they need a product, which is a policy for general liability. Normally, I don't like selling general liability. I call it a BUP. It's a business owner product. That's my name to it, because it involves different parts. The general liability is just certain section of the policy. When I call it a product, is because it involves way different things like general liability and other coverages that you need. The property of the business, if you need the building, we're going to talk about that. And if you have a landlord that it gives you a lease that requires you to have certain endorsements, we're going to work around them and we're going to attack them to provide them to you. So I need to start building that relationships from the get-go. Okay, when they come to me or I go to them, it's always okay. Tell me about your business, whatever business it is. It's a restaurant, it's a landscape, it's a painting, cleaning, anything. How did you build this up? The customer is always proud of telling you how they decided to do something for themselves, because a lot of times it's like, well, it's easier just to go and apply for a job, and if you get the job, good. If you don't, well, I'll go to a different place. But to start a business, it's a little bit of more of a daring, it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it well or I'm gonna fail or whatever. So when they telling you why and how long it took and how much it took them and all that kind of stuff, you're building that sentiment of, I'm at the point that I have something that is really important for me. You're going to remind them that it's very important for them to have the product that is going to cover any risk that they had to cover. So once you have their attention, once you heard them, then you're going to go and tell them what is that you can do for them. I'm not just going to offer a price. I'm straight out honest with them. I cannot sell by price because that's not my commitment with you. My job goes so far that I'm going to be here with you before, during, and after we sign the policy. That's my promise to you. And always I remind them, if they have a current policy, always ask them, How many times have you met your agent? 90% of that answer is, I don't know him. And that bothers me. Why? Because a lot of these agents are just giving whatever they want to sell to these people. We cannot just sell them something. We have to sell them a product. I'd rather go and talk to 10 people a month, but I know that 90% I'm going to sell it, than calling these people and they all going to reject me because there is not that connection. Yes, I understand that the times have changed, but not because time has changed, I'm going to change. I'm the kind of person that I have to be in front of you, and I want you in front of me. Let's talk. Let's communicate. What do you have? Let me tell you what you need. And then we go from there. At the end of the day, if the product is not convenient for you, I will accept. But if you're going to go with somebody else, I'm going to recommend you to ask for what I'm telling you. All these coverages that I spoke to you, all these needs that your business has. If let's say that we have a restaurant and our product requires to have a certain type of extinguisher system for the ranch hood, ask them if the system that you have is if that's required or not. You need to change it. Your landlord has to change it. All that kind of stuff. That's important for me, because it is not just to help my agency. It's help the people, because they give us a product and a service that, I mean, sometimes we take for granted. We go over there and eat and whatever, but I have to take it seriously, because to me it's very important that these people is successful in order for me to be successful. Luckily, I create that relationship. They get to know me. For some reason, I make them laugh and they feel comfortable. And then that facilitates me the job. Why? Because once I give them the quote, it's another thing. Now we're in business. Now you know that I'm not here just to sell you by price. You know that I'm serious about what I'm about to offer you. And luckily, most of the time, even though that a lot of people has cheaper quotes or cheaper products, lucky enough, I can sell what we sell, which is a complete product. That's one of the reasons. And I've been telling these different agents and different people, that's the reason that I'm here with farmers. If it wasn't for farmers, I wouldn't be selling insurance, because I go by product, not by price. So, I mean, to me, that's why it's important. But another of the benefits of selling commercial is that you can also talk about personal lines. You can offer the home, the auto, life, all these kind of other products. To me, the commercial side is the core of selling other products. There is other people that they rather sell life and go from there to another place, but this is my favorite segment here. So my recommendation, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, could you kind of hit on too, like how do you prospect? Is it phone prospecting? Are you stopping in, and then kind of how do you plan your prospecting days? And then what kind of businesses do you target? Which ones do you like to go after where you have the biggest benefit to add and the best closing rates?
Definitely everything that is related to food, as you can see. I like to go to restaurants. I like to go to food trucks. Normally the way I do it is go eat and see what kind of businesses, how many employees you see. I mean, kind of like sneaking into what I could be able to tell the owner that they could use me for. What do I mean by that? It's not just about the general liability. We need to do the workers' compensation also. I offer my services helping them with the audit, explain to them what is the audit and all that kind of stuff. But definitely, once I'm in a restaurant that I think that they have a very good product, definitely that's important, because let's be honest, if they don't sell, that means that you could sell the product, but at the end of the day, they're gonna crash, and then we're gonna lose the business. So I try to go over there when it's not that busy, when it's very slow, like in the food truck. Normally it's around 12 to 1:30, the busiest. I try to go before when they're prepping, but not most of the time because they're very busy. But after lunch and all that kind of stuff, it's easier to talk to the owners because normally they are the ones that they're working that kind of business. If not, the employee are receptive, and when you tell them, you know what, you know about business loss of income, if your boss is going to be able to pay your salary and all that kind of stuff, and the stuff that you use to make them think about, you know what, I'm going to talk to my employer about this because it sounds very interesting. So I drop the card and congratulate them for the food. That is something very important to me. Tell them that their product that they have is to my satisfaction. It doesn't matter that it's going to cost me $3 a taco or a $20 a dish, a plate. Why? Because I'm going to come back to them again the same way. I don't mind to paying your product the price that you put on because it's quality. That's what we sell. Quality, correct?
Yep.
So that's the way I do it. I mean, I feel comfortable with myself to go over there and talk to anybody. Why? Because I know my product very well, and that's why I tell everybody you need to study your product, and once you know most of it, you're gonna be feeling very comfortable selling it. Again, it's not easy to sell, to be honest with you, but for me, that I enjoy doing it, it becomes easy, you know, and I feel good doing it because I know that I'm offering a service, not just a product. Because besides the product, that goes my service and my team over here. That without them, it will be very, very hard. I have to give them the recognition that they deserve. It's a team effort here. It's not just me, but definitely we have a system where I'm the one going out there, and they help me with the rest of the stuff, with services. And if somebody that I told them you can call me, they patch me through, and then I communicate with them. So there is no lost calls, no lost emails. I'm always in contact with them regardless. I have to have that relationship. I cannot be the one claiming that I'm going to be there. If I'm not there, I'm failing, and I cannot fail to them. So that's very, very important. If my phone rings and I'm here in the office and he's one of my clients, boom, right away. Hey, how are you? Well, how can I help you? Oh, I need this and that. Let's do it. So,
yeah, I would say that availability is huge.
Definitely.
Most
Definitely.
calls I get transferred from service ops or customers reaching out is on commercial where they need a cert or can't get a hold of their agents. And I know, and Miguel's always on it. So appreciate the time, Miguel, for us to give some time to Shane. We're going to transition, but if you guys have questions, Miguel's great. Reach out to him. His office number's there. I know he'll talk to anybody about what he does and how he does it. And it's just like at life insurance or anything. Have time committed to it, have a process in place, and then do it consistently. So awesome. Well,
thank you very much.
Little intro for Shane. 10 plus years as an agent. He is one of the 4 agents from our territory on the Commercial Advisory Council. So he's got a little bit of a finger on the pulse for commercial on that side of it. Coming off a great year last year in commercial, and coming off a President's Council nod too. So appreciate Shane taking the time to join our teams for this. So with that, we'll turn it over and see if we can hear Shane too.
All right. Hey, thanks. Hopefully everyone can hear me.
But
thanks for having me on. I did take a look. You guys have a lot of amazing agents in your district, a lot of people that I look up to as well. And so in this, what I wanted to do, and after I talked with Nick, was when I first started, it was one of the hardest things. Commercial was very scary to me because didn't know anything about it, right? And we tend to just kind of stay away from stuff that we don't know. And so I kind of stayed away from commercial and just kind of did what I had to do. And the last couple of years, we kind of changed that and started focusing a little bit more on commercial. And one of the reasons why is, well, one, it pays a higher commission, which is always a bonus. But we focus a little bit more on commercial just because with our commercial clients, you get to have shots at the personal lines. You have multiple products that you can sell, whether it's the BOP policy or whether you're going to workers' comp or an umbrella or commercial auto. So there's a lot of different options that are out there. And one thing that I found is if you're not going to sell somebody a commercial policy, somebody is going to. When that other person sells that other commercial policy, they don't just say, yep, I'm happy with the commercial. They're usually going to go after all of their personal lines as well. And so this is one of the reasons why I decided, hey, we're going to focus a little bit more on commercial and really have started focusing on this just a little bit heavier. And one of the things that we have used amongst a few others. So I'll start off kind of showing you just a couple of marketing techniques and campaigns that we've used, or give you some ideas. One of the biggest things when you're going through any meeting with farmers or listening to Miguel, you had some great information, is I heard this a long time ago, was the 72-hour rule. The 72-hour rule is we hear all of this great information, we write it all down and say, yep, I'm going to do it. And then 5 years from now, you're going to find it on a notepad and say, man, that was a great idea. I should have did that. Is the 72-hour rule is if you don't do it or put it on your calendar to schedule it to have it done within 72 hours, it will never happen. And so that's the biggest thing I see for myself and a lot of other agents is, you know, I've never been to a different place where people literally tell you, hey, I'll tell you exactly how to do it or what I'm doing. And it's like, yep, that's a great idea. And then just never put it into effect. And, you know, I'm to blame for that as well. Along with a lot of other agents that have been in the business for a while. A lot of times somebody will call me and ask me, hey, what are you doing? And of course, you know, better to be a pirate than a pioneer, of course. I'll ask them, hey, what have you done in the past that worked? And they'll come up with, hey, this is what I did. And I'll say, well, do you still do that? Well, no, it's one of those things that works so well that I quit doing it. And so I find that happens a lot too. So sometimes you can come back up with some of your old marketing campaigns that you've done that worked in the past, and for some reason, for whatever it was, that you quit doing it. And so I'm just going to share a screen here. Hopefully this works. Hopefully you should be able to see everything on Hennepin County Library. Can everybody see that?
I stopped sharing and now I should be able to.
Try to share one more time.
Yeah.
Try sharing one more time.
Yeah,
There you go.
Any luck?
it's coming, I think. There it is.
There we go.
All right. So this is one of the best kept secrets in insurance, as far as and if you guys know about it, great. And I apologize for probably talking about something that you guys might know, but even if we can reach out and let one newer person know about this, this is a great reference. This, you can go to any library that participates, but Hennepin County, literally you can go in and sign up online, but you just need a library card. Believe it or not, if I get one, anybody can get one. But get yourself a library card. You can go online, and what it was known as was Reference USA, but now it's called Data Axle. So depending upon which you're with, that will say it's pretty much the same thing. But once we get in here, the cool part with this is we can look up any business that is out there. So there's 79 million businesses. And so when we look at this and we start searching, and you can pick any one that you want, but so we're really good at retail office, right? So I'm going to look up one of my clients, which is Soda Chiropractic. Okay. And you don't have to do a whole lot, but we'll just knock it down to Minnesota. So you can put in city, it can depends on how specific that you want to be. So here we have one of our, let's say if I'm looking for a chiropractor and I know of one in the area, you can click on it. What this will do is it will give you the address, it will give you phone numbers, it will give you all the information, it'll give you a SIC code on it. It will give you employees, it'll give you how long they've been there, it'll tell you roughly what their credit rating is, right? It'll tell you if it's a home business or not. So the other thing about this, depending upon the company, this is a fairly new company, but it will give you sales volumes from prior years. All of this information is free. And so when you're looking at this, it gives you a great start. And one of the biggest things is if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, I want to go out and I actually want to market to this person, or I want to market similar people. You can say, hey, I want to look in a 20-mile radius and I want to find similar people to this or similar businesses to this. Now at this point, it's going to come back and it's going to give me a list of all of the businesses within 20 miles of where I just looked. And all of a sudden now we look at one and say, hey, we want to start going with, whoever, right? So I want to start marketing this person in Eden Prairie. So now if I click on their name, it will tell me roughly how long they've been in business. It'll give me the name of the owner. Usually it's going to be the owner. It'll tell me if it's a private business. But now if I know I'm marketing for Blake and I want to send out some snail mail. So a lot of times what I'll do is I will use phone calls, I'll use snail mail, I'll use email, and I'll also use text messages. I'll try everything. But a lot of times you'd be surprised because not a lot of people use snail mail any longer. And so what's different a lot of times works. And so what I'll do is I'll necessarily send a piece of snail mail to somebody with something on the letter of like the feel felt found. Hey, we've had a lot of chiropractors. I'm insured. A lot of them felt this way. We have found if they did this, how that whole rigmarole goes. But you can specifically talk about some specific coverages if there is a gap or something of that nature when you're sending it out. Then when you send it out, make sure you send off your business card. The biggest thing is make sure you put a magnet on your business card. I know it sounds stupid, but where do magnets go? For some reason, they never go in the garbage. Make sure you get a good magnet to put in the back of your card because somehow it'll get stuck somewhere in there. And there's your smiling face for them to see over and over again. This works for personal lines as well. But when you're in there and you're sending that mailer, whether you're going to do a drop by and stop and bring some donuts, or you're going to bring, think about yourself in your office because you're a business owner as well. Now, how many people do we have coming in to try to sell us something, whether it's glass companies or restoration companies? What makes those people memorable, right? Because you have to get past the gatekeeper. That's number one. And if you can get past the gatekeeper, what makes you memorable? Why would I do business with you? So again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody else has already done it. What you need to do is you need to just take that wheel and just make it your own and just knock some of the edges off of it and refine it. So that's, again, one of those things, be a pirate than a pioneer. So a lot of times if you go out to another agent, and just maybe ask them and kind of see what they're doing as well. But one that I had that I thought was kind of interesting is I had somebody bring in beef jerky or beef sticks. Just something different. So when they brought that in, they had their card on it. And they kind of just had a few seconds to talk about it. Miguel brought up one thing as well as people love to talk about their children, and business owners love to talk about their business and how hard it is and how hard it was to get started. And so bringing that up, just kind of finding some good time to talk with business owners. One other thing that I did want to show, I'm just going to get out of here, is it's over here. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see the business page.
Yep.
Farmers has done a great job when we look like at our, if I come in here just to essentially my sales force, To find that business page, again, in true fashion of the way we've always had it, there's 30 different ways to get to the same thing. But in here, when we're looking at it, you're just going to come down to your products and resources. You have your business insurance. When you click on that, that's going to bring you right to this business page. This business page is essentially going to be everything that you need. It's got all the resources right here to get anything done that you need. So when you're in here, and if you're essentially just starting off, you can come into quoting and it will give you some information on whatever it is that we're looking for, right? A retail office, restaurants, whatever it happens to be. So if you're looking for a retail office, you can just click on here. This will bring you to this part. You can come in, sorry, I got a screen here. But you can come in and if you go into your, just like some of your marketing support, what this will do is it will give you sales kits. So if you're brand new and you don't know anything about it, and you want to get a sales kit for, let's say, an electrician or for a plumber or for whoever it is that we're looking for that sales kit. So like, let's say if we want to start going after electricians, click on it. You can literally print it off. You can read through it, whatever you want to do. It'll tell you what some eligible operations are. It'll give you some ideas in the BOP, the commercial auto, the workers' comp, essentially what does it do? Talks about scheduled equipment. There was a lot of agents that we were kind of looking for stuff because a lot of our bonuses and stuff depend on commercial now. And one of the things that was brought up that I think which helps a few agents was for commercial, for like the contractors. A lot of times we'll have a carpenter or a finish contractor, something of that nature that farmers does not want, that's ineligible through farmers for general liability or for a BOP policy. But what we can do is you can certainly write you can write a general liability through BTIS or essentially Craft Lake through TAPCO BTIS. Now, when you write that, the idea of writing that isn't to get that small $5,000-$6,000 policy through BTIS or through Craft Lake. I mean, that's great, you have that, but the idea is to try and get the other business through farmers because it counts. And what I mean by that is you can do like your commercial auto through farmers. So if you run the commercial auto, a lot of these contractors will carry their truck and they have a trailer. That trailer is packed full of tools, maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of tools. And how many times has somebody seen a trailer get busted into on a job site while they're there or not there, and also now their tools are gone, right? So we have that option to do contractors' tools and equipment only through farmers. And so a lot of times what we'll do is we'll run the general liability through Craft Lake. We can certainly run workers' compensation through Minnesota Workers' Comp Pool if needed. And what that does, it gets your foot in the door for, you get their personal lines, but also too, now you have that option for the commercial auto, you can do the trailer, and then also you can insure all the stuff inside of the trailer. Where if you're just doing the commercial auto, you can do like, I think it's $3,000 worth of business tools and equipment on the vehicle. But a lot of times they might have $20,000 worth of stuff. In that case, you can actually just do a separate contractor's tools and equipment policy. So that's one to keep an eye out for your current clients. Best places, again, is whether you're cold calling, going through Data Axle or Reference USA, going out, meeting somebody in person. All of that works great. Also, your current clients. It's an amazing opportunity to go out and find your current clients or talk with them, whether in a review, because a lot of times you might find somebody who's actually doing something that, and it's you just didn't know, or you don't even have it yet, and they're currently insured with their commercial insurer, and they don't even know that you do business insurance because maybe it's never been brought up, or they work for somebody that might have that opportunity. So those are going to be some of the things that to just try and find out or trying to look for. One of the other ones that let's see here. One of the other things I just wanted to bring up is for like salons, is when you insure a salon, they're usually insuring that owner that is running that salon. The nice part is we can give them the opportunity to provide additional insurance for the other hairstylists that are in their salon. So because what they're usually looking for is just a professional liability, they're not looking for the whole works. But that is a great sales tool that you can use for that salon owner to provide that for those other stylists that are in there working for them, or necessarily renting chairs from them as well. The one other thing that I did want to bring up is when you're looking at commercial auto, when you're quoting a commercial auto, and let's say you have somebody who has they're a lawn and landscape company and they have plows in their trucks. You can't just go through and just put the truck through and call it good. You do need to put on the additional equipment onto that vehicle, because if you don't and they smash up that plow, smash the truck up, and the plow is all messed up, Farmers is going to pay for the truck. They're not going to pay for the additional equipment. You need to list that stuff, additional equipment on that vehicle. Now, this is also something too that you can start to poke holes into their current policy where, hey, I notice you don't have the additional equipment on your commercial auto currently. Did you know that your $8,000 plow might not be covered, right? Or something of that nature. So that just kind of give you a few ideas. One other thing to show you in here, when they did show you the target SIC codes from before, is they do have a little bit more. It's on this page as well. So you can come in here and you can click just right on your targeted SICs. And what that'll do is that'll give you the close ratio for all the SIC codes in the state. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that if it's not on this target SIC code that we won't accept it. It just means that these have had the best closing ratios in the state. And just because something's in here on this target SIC code does not mean that we're not going to be able, that we'll be able to insure it, because there's some things in here that will still cause something to be ineligible. But these, if you're just going out and starting and to say, hey, yeah, this is something I want to get into, I want to start focusing on this, come down this list and start picking one or two or even three of them out. The reason why is you want to start to become a specialist on some of these, where you're actually going through and fine tuning some of those exact coverages. So that way, when you're talking with a client, you're able to go through and say, hey, yep, this is something that you need to be careful of, or just like in a personal lines policy when you're selling that. But with commercial, the most frustrating part when I first started was trying to make something fit. So the easiest way I say it now is, with farmers with commercial, we're either the best at it or we don't do it. That's just the easiest way to say it. So when I look at it and somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm a commercial gravel hauler, it's not even, don't even bother putting it through it, because it's not going to be eligible when you go through your appetite guide. If it's not eligible, don't try chasing this thing down. Now, if you want to run through Craft Lake and broker it, that's great. But if it's something that it's not acceptable through farmers, you're just best off, moving on to the next thing, or not necessarily focusing on that one thing, because you can spend a lot of time trying to go through and get that one policy to get it to be eligible. And then you'll go through and run. And at the end of it, you've realized, hey, I've spent a lot of time. I've quoted this thing. Client said, yeah, hey, everything might look good. But then all of a sudden, hey, it's not eligible. So stick with what we're really good at and try to focus on a few of those things. But also, too, you don't want to necessarily lose low-hanging fruit, like I said, by your contractors being general contractors, being able to run them through Craft Lake, because you still have some of those opportunities to run some of the other stuff through farmers, and that has helped a ton of agents, get their bonus at the end of it as well. So I don't want to I've used up probably too much of your time already, but if you guys have any questions or anything else, you can feel free to reach out to me anytime. So
we are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.